Kayfabe was a way to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, we are the generation. You make your rules, and we will. Give the people what they want.
God honest truth, this Raw was pretty fucking good.
Great show.
The biggest issue with the show wasn't the show itself. It was the crowd dead as hell. Now, you guys can have your theories on, oh, that's because they didn't have this, or they didn't have storyline, or stop the nitpicking and actually watch what was provided to you that week.
Bully Ray even chimed in on Twitter saying that usually he's the wrestler that when other wrestlers say, oh, the crowd suck, he'll go up to them and say, no, the crowd didn't suck. You suck. You can't put on a great show. But even him, on that night, said, no, it was the crowd. It sucked. I think it was Lafayette, Louisiana. You suck, man. You gotta step it up, man.
You know what happens?
What happens?
You know what? I'm not even going to put them on the list. They don't deserve it. But to that crowd,
you know what I got to say to them?
I don't know, but they got to... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely suck. So let's just get right into it. Raw starts off with Triple H opening the show, and he's talking about Becky Lynch and her role in Elimination Chamber. Becky Lynch is, of course, suspended right now. Kayfabe suspended, and she ended up coming out into the Elimination Chamber after the Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey match, and literally beat the shit out of both Charlotte and Ronda with her crutches, leaving them all bruised up, all battered, even cutting open Ronda on the side of the head.
Which is funny because I saw a meme on the internet that said that the crutch got called up from NXT.
I believe it. Oh, Tommaso Ciampa's crutch. That's
Johnny Gargano. The crutch got called up.
Yo,
congratulations.
Congrats to the crutch. Finally made it to the main roster. But Triple H mentions that as a professional backstage in WWE, he has to say the next time she does that, she will be arrested and she will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But on a personal note, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that's what he said. It was freaking awesome. More of that. Triple H moves on.
Grab that grass ring.
He moves on to speak about what else is cool, which is the DX induction that we spoke of. Is officially in the Hall of Fame in 2019. Congrats again to DX. He furthers his speech by talking about NXT main roster guys actually making the transition to Raw and being on SmackDown as well. Now, this was a big topic among people this week. The NXT call-ups.
I don't get call-ups.
This is and this is why I know people don't pay attention. Yes, they were called up in the sense that they're going to be able to be viewed on a Raw and a SmackDown, but they still are NXT. They are representing the brand NXT, and this week was more so putting NXT on the same pedestal as a Raw, as a SmackDown, competing against the best stars of each shows with the best four from NXT. So
whenever you see one of these NXT wrestlers come out, at the bottom of the show, the name tag, you saw NXT Aleister Black, NXT Johnny Gargano. They didn't have the regular Raw. They didn't have the regular SmackDown.
Exactly.
They're really trying to establish these are NXT stars. If you like them, go on the WWE Network. It's only $9.99 per month.
This is why Richie's not here. He's trying to eat your corporate hat because smashing it didn't work. You're still selling the network for $9.99.
New members get a free month.
So So the critique about NXT call-ups, this wasn't a call-up. This was them saying NXT is going to be a force to reckon with. Even Triple H in this promo had to correct himself when he said NXT was a developmental that he was in charge of. He said, no, NXT is the third traveling brand. Big difference from getting called up as a Raw superstar or as a SmackDown superstar. So I don't really see where all the hate is. Not only that, all four of these guys had amazing matches throughout Raw, amazing matches this week on SmackDown.
Which the crowd didn't give a great response.
On Monday night, they didn't. But Tuesday, the crowd was back in fruition. Tuesday night was a great show. I'll get more into that. But moving on down the line, the NXT call-ups for this week was DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, Ricochet, and Aleister Black. So the first match of the night was Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. This was another match that
it was a tables match.
It was a tables match, but this was a match before the match actually got underway. I'm like, God damn it, again? Do we need this? And shout out to the Council of Commentary, which is a Facebook group that we're a part of. They're good friends with the Kayfabe Avenue Livecast. Shouts out to them. We have a forum for every show where we comment down. People damn, more of this. I bet you Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley's just going to end up coming in and interfering. It's the same old bullshit. No. This was actually a great match. This was a great match. It was a straight up one-on-one. Showed Baron Corbin's strengths, showed Braun's strengths, and what they both could give to a good match. Honestly, I have to give it to them. Yeah. They pulled off a great match, and this was me going in like, oh, here we go again, the same old, and they proved me wrong. So
and then you have at the end you had Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre actually coming out after the match. They set up two tables. They gave Bobby Lashley Braun Strowman a shield bomb.
No. That was at the Elimination Chamber.
That was
that's why we had this match at Raw between Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman in the table match. That was Elimination Chamber. So this match was just a straight up one-on-one. Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley never come out. So it was actually, good what they gave us. And none of that interfering bullshit. Bobby Lashley was in his own world tonight. Drew McIntyre was in his own world tonight. And that first match, for something that, like I said, I really didn't want to see, it turned out to be really good. And I even have it in my notes. Didn't want it at first, but became a good match. Straight up one-on-one. So after Braun wins, he wins in a good way. Corbin does that slide out the ring and go around the turnbuckle, slides back in. When he goes to slide back in, pump handle slam through the table in the corner. So good match. Go and check that out. As Braun Strowman is walking up the ramp to celebrate his victory, he bumps into none other than Paul Heyman. He has him choking Paul out. Paul's like, "You're hurting me. I'm just advocate. I can't breathe. So he ends up letting him go and just walking to the back. But funny stuff.
He has to get a cup of water after that.
Because Paul Heyman is the representative of Brock. Nobody likes what Brock's doing. Everybody wants to take Brock down. So, unfortunately, advocate or not, you're going to get choked out and get these hands. But Paul Heyman's there to show basically video packages of Brock Lesnar and his career.
The straight dominance over everything that he does.
Yeah, this was actually a great video package. It was from before he started in WWE.
As an All-American.
And led all the way until WrestleMania when he won the title. That was the second part. But the first part led all the way to when he won the title and dominated everybody in his first run in WWE. Then they cut it off from there. Finn Balor actually interrupts the segment, and he has a talking about his IC title win. This leads to Leo Rush coming out and saying, "You do not
deserve to be Intercontinental Champion. Bobby Lashley deserves to be Intercontinental Champion."
So
out of nowhere,
this leads to Leo distracting Finn. Bobby Lashley comes in, attacks Finn Balor from behind. Leo comes into the ring. This leads into save by Leo. Excuse me. This is leads into a save by Ricochet, one of the NXT call-ups. Supposedly leads into a good match, good tag team match. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have our co-host, Mr. Richie Moon. Shouts out to Richie Moon. He's actually watching us live. He's tuning in. He says, I didn't like how the NXT guys were handled. I feel like they could have been made to feel more special. Do you remember Kevin Owens' debut or the Shield's debut? Like, this is like this. It was special because all the NXT call-ups came out looking strong on Raw and came out looking strong on SmackDown. They had great matches against great competition. Now, you have Ricochet actually pulling the victory out of this tag team match between Leo and Bobby versus Finn and Ricochet. And everyone got to mix it up. Everybody got to square off with each other at a certain point. Ricochet eventually going for the 630 splash on Leo for the win. It's looking like Leo and Bobby are probably in a full-time split eventually. But I hope not either. He elevated Bobby Lashley.
Well, what needs to happen is that Bobby Lashley needs to be in the storyline with Leo to try to toughen Leo up and make him start pumping iron.
See, now I would agree with Richie's stance as far as their call up. If there were actual call ups, if these guys they're not stuck to Raw, they're not stuck to a SmackDown. They're literally there to take over the programming and to represent NXT. This has been said in all their segments, all their backstage promos. It's a takeover. They're there to represent. Yes, promotion. They're there to represent NXT. And even DIY, who's continuing, they did not stop their storyline whatsoever from the NXT shows. They're continuing their storyline. And they said it there on Raw. We're here together to represent NXT. We might not like each other, but let's do this. So DIY is officially back together on the main rosters, defending against the tag teams of Raw and the tag teams of SmackDown, while both holding their championships and feuding. So, that Ricochet match was definitely a good match. For people who didn't know about Ricochet on Raw, they know who he is now. So moving on.
Ricochet is a great wrestler too. I've been following him since Lucha. So shout out to Ricochet and Flea and all of them.
Yeah. So moving on from the Ricochet Finn Balor win, we have Triple H in the back and he's talking to Natalya. It's inaudible. We really don't see what they're actually saying to each other. But we have Drew McIntyre come and pretty much tell Triple H his case for WrestleMania. And he's like, when I told you why you're giving these NXT superstars some shine on Raw. I told you when I arrived here, I will do anything in my power to make it to the top. And let me prove that to you. Give me Seth Rollins. I want to destroy him. I'm going to destroy him, and I want to show my case for being at WrestleMania. I'm that guy. So in comes Dean Ambrose, and he's like, well, I'm not doing anything. Smacks the holy hell out of Drew McIntyre. And Triple H is standing there like,
you want me to change the match? You want me the same match?
You want me? Yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre, just change the match.
He's like, change the match, and walks off. So I don't know what's going on with Dean Ambrose, but that was hilarious. Smacked the shit out of him.
Yeah, because after is there next?
No.
All right, so I'll let you go through that.
Yeah, so the next thing that was up after that promo with Ambrose and Drew and Triple H, we have a highlight of Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky's chamber recap pretty much. Then it leads to the Revival, DIY in the back talking to Rude and Gable, and Rude and Gable's like, I don't understand. You guys are brand new, stemming off of that match from last week. We should be facing the Revival tonight, not you guys. So pretty much posturing between the teams, and then the Revival come out, hey, we're the top guys. We have our titles. We're going to show you how it's done. They mentioned the wars between DIY and the Revival in the past. And this led straight into their match. So it was Revival versus DIY.
Great
with
fucking match.
Rude and Gable looking on backstage. It was a great match. Like, I feel like
That's a
maybe the
pay-per-view.
revival
That was
it was that's definitely pay-per-view worthy down the line if it's gonna be for the titles eventually. But I felt like the revival could get this loss over them just because of the big win and that great classic match from last week. I kind of feel like they should have put DIY versus another tag team though. Maybe put them against Rude and Gable to put them over them. I feel like the revival maybe lost too soon.
Yeah.
But understandable, they're trying to put DIY over. They're trying to put NXT guys over as compatible or as good or better than the roster.
What you really think about it is it's not like they lost to nobody. They lost against the NXT champion and the NXT North American champion. These are made guys already, built to look strong already, and you have tag team champions, and it's basically champions versus champions right now.
Pretty much.
And I don't feel like that there was a way to make them look weak, but but they both look strong because at least they lost two strong champions.
Yeah, exactly. They lost to the NXT champion and the North American champion, so it wasn't like you lost to two bums. But moving on, we have Bayley and Sasha celebrating their win with the women's tag team championships at Elimination Chamber. They're interrupted by Nia and Tamina, and I can't even lie. As much as I can't stand Nia Jax, she straight up clown Sasha Banks. Like, oh, you're the one that's known for winning and then losing your titles in the first defense. Shitted on, straight shitted on them. They tried to attack. It failed. Bayley and Sasha held them off. Every time they tried to get in the ring, they would put like a move on them or hit them. So they ended up retreating. But the announcement was made here that the women's tag team championships will be defended on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So there's more of that cross-brand situation going on. NXT being respected as a prominent brand.
That's great because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of tag teams.
Honestly, the men need to follow suit. I feel like at that point, we don't need an NXT tag team title. We don't need a SmackDown tag team title. And we don't need a Raw tag team title. Let's have the Revival face the Usos and face the War Raiders for the reemergence of the old classic tag team titles. That'll be fucking amazing.
Nah, I still like the brand split. It gives more people more opportunity and such, especially with since WWE has like damn near 50 plus wrestlers on the active roster. When you include NXT UK, 205 Live, Raw, and SmackDown, plus the people they have in the development, they have a lot of people to have championships and such. So I feel like it makes sense to have a Raw tag team and a SmackDown tag team. I feel like the other shows should have more. I feel like 205 Live should have a tag team as well, and
I just think that's too much oversaturation of tag team titles. If Bayley and Sasha are gonna set the standard and fight and defend their titles on all three brands, I think the men should be held accountable and done the same. And I think the separation between 205 Live and the rest of the roster should end. The only thing that should be focused on 205 Live, the only thing that should be the focus of that show should be the Cruiserweight Championship and the matches leading up to deciding who faces the champion. So,
I mean, the Cruiserweight, the 205 Live could get a tag team championship, which I feel would help a lot of the 205 Live wrestlers because they're basically not doing much. You see, Michael Ellis is not doing much. What is Lucha House Party doing?
Well, we'll speak about Michael Ellis.
What is Drew Gallagher?
Drew Gallagher has actually been on NXT
and NXT,
merging the brands pretty much. So this merging of brands have been underway for quite some time. It's not just this week on Raw. It's just they actually making you guys aware this time. Like NXT's getting called up as a brand. Not they're Raw superstars now, they're SmackDown superstars now. No, NXT as a brand is getting called up.
We got to stop thinking that NXT is developmental. No, it's the third brand.
It's the third
Technically, it's the A show. If we want to be honest, and then
And
you
Evolve is now our developmental system, and the Performance Center is the developmental.
ICW and,
So,
and Progress.
moving on from the Tamina Bailey stuff, we had the match between Drew and Dean. It was a good match, but obviously with Dean leaving after WrestleMania, his losses are just piling up now. Drew McIntyre ends up winning. After that, we have Brock's promo video, which now explains his streak win and his dominance over the WWE title situation, eventually the Universal Championship. And, you know, more of the hype stuff. It's funny how they failed to mention his failed football career and also the fact that, yeah, he did go off and become UFC champion, but he got the, what is it, the diverticulitis or something like that it's called?
Something like that.
And, well, the stomach disease that prevented him from continuing his UFC career. They failed to mention that. Two big tidbits. Brock isn't all-powerful, and, no, he's had hardships. They should have mentioned that because his career and everything he tried, for the most part, he's dominated what he's tried. But he has failed. And they try to remove that from history. WWE does write their history sometimes, and he did it with Brock. So after this package, we have Seth Rollins backstage getting interviewed, and pretty much usual stuff. Burn it down. He's going to fight him at WrestleMania. He's going to be the martyr. Win, lose, or draw. He's going to make sure that he walks out with that title. And
then Dean Ambrose
pops back up.
And it's like, wait. And honestly, I really gotta give them one of these because it's like, why? It's like, who is booking this crap? It's like he's like, hey, why aren't you out there? And then you have Seth Rollins
like, are you have you completely lost your mind? I found it funny. I found it funny, honestly. And not only that,
and my thing is that
let's be real.
You're leaving WWE because of these hokey storylines.
But you're
and
participating.
You're participating in this hokey storyline.
I also see this as a change. A lot of Dean Ambrose's frustration, besides creative, was the fact that they pulled him away from Seth Rollins as his traveling, partner. They were more than just the Shield. They were real friends and brothers, in real life. So that was a big impact on the fact that, if you're going to make me in this uncomfortable situation, I can't even travel with my best friend no more. And it's for this heel turn that you said I was going to have, but the heel turn didn't really come into fruition like you promised. I'd be disgruntled too. I see this as a way to kind of like mold him back into being on Seth's good side. Roman just got announced he's going to be on tomorrow's Raw and possibly coming back in the ring. Who knows? They're probably going to say, okay, now we can have the Shield back.
Hopefully.
So I actually enjoyed that because he's like, have you completely lost your mind? And Dean gives him the, like, maybe I have lost my mind look and walks off. So next up is Elias. Cuts a promo saying he's fed up with the treatment and being interrupted. We do have that universal truth. So, talking about the general mistreatment, how he's been interrupted, and the moment he actually finishes talking and tunes in that guitar and strums that guitar, out comes Aleister Black. Richie is chiming in. He says, hopefully they can make this feud more interesting because Seth versus Brock is ice cold for me.
It is ice cold for me.
It's ice cold for me too. God honest truth, I was hoping that they were going to throw the demon Finn Balor into the story at some point and have Finn versus Seth versus Brock at WrestleMania. It's ice cold because Brock is nowhere in sight. We can't have Seth Rollins carrying the entire shit. Not only that, Paul Heyman coming in and I'm the advocate, let me speak, let me walk off, and then you give us these video packages. No, we want the champion on the show. I agree with Richie 100%. I'm cold on this too. Dean Ambrose leaving might be a work. Remember that. I'm definitely one of the people that said I believe Dean Ambrose situation is work as well, because WWE's never been known to announce people leaving months in advance, let alone someone on the caliber of a Dean Ambrose, and way ahead of WrestleMania season they announced this. So I do agree, maybe the Dean Ambrose thing is a work, and hopefully, honestly, the smartest way they could have did it, keep Dean Ambrose far away from Seth Rollins, have him as an impossibility for Seth. Seth is completely alone versus Brock. WrestleMania time comes, Dean Ambrose comes to try to Roman comes, tries to rescue Seth in that situation, help him win the title. Brock is destroying both of them. Dean Ambrose, the full shield is back. Maybe have a no disqualification kind of situation for the title. Triple powerbomb, the beast is destroyed by the entire shield. Who knows?
And then Brock leaves for good.
And then Brock leaves for good. Go to UFC. Go anywhere. Go anywhere but...
Go to Bellator.
Go anywhere but WWE's rosters, please. Because anytime Brock Lesnar is in that situation, I have a question. Like, who the hell is booking this crap?
I feel
Count all those sins. So, moving on, Elias cut the promo. Aleister Black interrupts. This leads into a Aleister Black versus Elias match. Now, this match, honestly, it could have been better. I enjoyed it in my initial run, but seeing what Aleister Black did on SmackDown, and we'll get more to that when we get to the SmackDown portion, I felt SmackDown handled Aleister Black perfectly. It was the perfect type of match. Now, Elias is a little awkward in the ring. Obviously, his in-ring work isn't the best part of Elias's situation, but Aleister Black made the best of it. It turned out to be a pretty decent match. Fade to Black, and Aleister Black wins the match.
That was a stiff.
Richie Moon has chimed in again on the YouTube, and he says, I think Elias versus Black wasn't a good look for Black. Being put in rest holds during to add breaks doesn't make him feel special. And goddamn Michael Cole, he's moody. Laughing out. He's not an emo. He's not an emo. He's not an emo. He has Luciferian beliefs. Aleister Black.
Oh
Aleister Black has Luciferian beliefs.
That's what
a lot of the symbolism.
Wow, that's crazy.
A lot of the symbolism on his vest are tarot symbols. So everything that he wears actually, they're tarot symbols, and they all mean, his vest all mean something pertaining to the feud he's in.
See, that's why I watched Raw and SmackDown.
Now this is the thing. This is why SmackDown does those situations better. It's not so much that it didn't make Aleister Black look good. It's the fact that when Raw goes on commercial breaks, the fans at home don't know anything that's going on. So usually they are in rest holds. You know, I've been to a lot of live Raws. They usually are in rest holds or in situations where they're just locking up and killing that minute, 2 minutes of time, so they can get back to the live feed and then continue on with the match. Where SmackDown does it better is when it's an important match, they actually continue the match in the corner and the commercials in a picture-in-picture situation. Raw needs to implement this because it would subside all those ill will feelings that Richie's bringing up, which actually is a good example. Like, so you put him in the rest hold before the commercial, and we come back for commercial, and he's still in the rest hold. I see what you mean, but that's Raw for you. And I thought you said something else. No, that's it. So yeah.
Michael Cole saying that.
Michael Cole saying that he's emo.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's old world. Like, we need Corey to just continue his announcements situation. Michael Cole is scaling back, so you know he's out of touch calling him emo. But nonetheless, Fade to Black leads Elias's downfall, Aleister Black's win. Next up was the main event, which God is truth shouldn't have been the main event.
Nope,
but
not at all.
The only thing I can say,
my God.
I thought this match was complete garbage on my first watch. I rewatched it last night. The match was better than what they delivered at Elimination Chamber. That's the most positive thing I can say about Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey. It was better than Elimination Chamber, but it was not that good of a match. It was okay for the most part. It should not have been the main event, especially with no Becky in sight, no Charlotte in sight. This was basically Ronda in her bag, in her rampage, coming off of anger, getting her ass whipped by Becky Lynch at the Elimination Chamber. She took it out on Ruby Riott. What I will give them was a great spot. Ronda pretty much has Ruby's legs up on her shoulders, and she flapjacks her face first onto the turnbuckle.
That was a good one.
When Ruby turns around and she's like holding her face, Ronda does like a step up, using like kicking off of Ruby into the armbar, rolls her and makes her tap in the armbar. So that was actually a good part of the match. Like I said, it shouldn't have been the main event. It was a decent match. It was, I can't say it was a great or phenomenal match. Shouldn't have been the main event, but it was a lot better than what they gave them at the Elimination Chamber. What I didn't like was the fact that Ronda by herself took down Ruby Riott, then got ambushed by Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, and she basically had one on her shoulders, kicks Sarah Logan in her stomach, drops Liv, dominates all three. This takes away from Ruby Riott. This takes away from the Riott Squad as a whole. The Powerpuff Girls. Richie says Ruby Riott deserves more. I agree. DIY versus the Revival should have been the main event. Definitely agree with that.
Yes.
Ronda's jumping armbar is fire. That's what made me change. Got on the shoe, that flapjack spot into the face first into the turnbuckle, that and leading into the step up armbar. That's what made me change my whole outlook of the match, because it was like, well, damn, they actually did some shit here. Like I said, not a great match. Wasn't complete trash like I originally thought it was going in on my rewatch. I really sat down, got to really appreciate it for what it was. They did their best, I guess, with that situation. What WWE needs to really realize, you have to stop choosing your heroes, your selective heroes, and then diminishing the stock of the rest of your talent. The Attitude Era only worked because you could believe a Billy Gunn versus The Rock. You could leave D'Lo Brown versus a Stone Cold Steve Austin and actually think, hey, D'Lo probably got a chance tonight. You know, that was the difference between the way things were booked then and the way things are booked now. Everyone is strong. Everyone had that opportunity to beat the next person. By you having Ruby Riott get dominated, and then Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan can't even do a successful jumping attack, that wasn't good.
Well, to WWE's defense, they want to make Ronda look strong as possible in front of Mania.
That's Richie Moon. Focus is Richie Moon impression. I'll do it next time, Richie. Don't worry. But I understand that WWE's trying to make Ronda look strong, but we don't need her to look strong. We already know she's strong. We know where she come from. We know what she's done this past year. It's officially a year now. Ronda's been in WWE. We don't need to keep building her strong. What we needed to do was give Ruby her moment. She came close, but in the end, the armbar took her down. That's it. They should have had Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan pull Ruby out and carry her. Good fight, kind of like a New Day situation.
Yeah.
How they were like, Kofi, you did your thing. Next time, you got them. That's how they should have booked the Riott Squad. The Riott Squad could be a big force to deal with. Ruby could be a future champion, and the rest of the Riott Squad could be future tag team champions, and they could be the first real dominant women's stable with titles and all. But you can't book that if you're diminishing them by getting the ass whooped by the women's champion all by herself. So he says, put that mic down. That's his line, Focus. So
That's my line. That's my line. And I'm cutting you off right now.
All right, so that was Monday Night Raw. Like I said, I felt if they would have put that I agree with Rich. If they would have put that DIY versus Revival at the end, it definitely would have been a big plus. But let's move on to Tuesday Night SmackDown, and let's continue this good streak of finally this good streak of shows.
And maybe you don't know where you are right now.
I don't think it's his house no more.
The
AJ Styles built. Even though I don't think it's his house no more, but SmackDown opens up with The Miz and Shane, and Miz is pretty much speaking his case about their loss at Elimination Chamber.
The greatest tag team.
I don't know how I feel about this because I want bigger things for Miz. I feel like after their loss, they should have just chopped it up to maybe Shane saying, you know, we won, we did our thing. I'm gonna fall back. I'm in a position of power here. I shouldn't be going for titles.
Whoa.
Okay, Uso.
No.
We didn't get there yet.
I know, but I just want to say that part was whack though.
So, you know,
Usos come out.
The Miz is speaking his case. I let you down. I let my dad down. I let my wife down. I let my unborn child down. I let my born child down. I let my mama down. I let the fan down. Even the fat one in the corner, and I make her cry too. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's my lie.
I'm sorry. I'm blending promos.
And even the Biz girl, she probably was disappointed.
And he agrees with Richie. Agrees with me. It's definitely not AJ Styles' house no more. It's the vegan compound now.
Yeah, the vegan.
Listen, those vegan steaks and weights is what got you off the show today. So I don't know if the vegan compound is a good idea. Just joking, but he speaks his case. The Usos interrupt, and they're like, "Whoa. I don't know what they're trying to do there, but they were, I guess, just trying to mock the whiteness of Shane and Miz, and that's kind of how they were making fun of them, speaking that way. So, long story short, this leads into Miz and Shane accepting the rematch. So that's gonna happen at Fastlane. Now, I'm mixed feelings because I think Miz deserves better, and with no clear competitor for Daniel Bryan, I was hoping Shane would step back. I'm in a position of power here. We won the titles. We did it. Here's your chance to maybe earn a WWE title shot without me being in the mix. Now, we still have time to do that.
However, everybody wants Kofi.
Everybody wants Kofi to win, which is, not a problem if he eventually does that. I don't see it happening. We'll get to Kofi more down the line, but the match is on. The tag team matches, a rematch is back on. Next up, we have Aleister Black versus Andrade. And now, this was the type of caliber match I wish happened on Raw versus the second night on SmackDown. This was hard-hitting. This was competitive. This was back and forth. This was the best Andrade. This was the best of Aleister Black. A lot of strikes, a lot of holds, a lot of moves.
A lot of Zelina.
But great match nonetheless. Ends with a fade to black. Great showing for Aleister Black. I don't want to get too much into details. I want you guys to go back and check out Raw and SmackDown this week. Very worthwhile. It was noted in the ratings. Raw had the highest rated views in 5 months.
Oh, damn.
So they have rebounded with what they tried out. So let's get more of that. So moving on, we have DIY in the back, and they're pretty much cutting a promo about their partnership. They're cutting a promo about their partnership and the fact that they're just there to represent NXT.
And then the bar comes.
The bar comes, and they're pretty much like, oh, it's bring your NXT superstar to work day. So they pretty much shitted on DIY. Didn't look at them as competitors.
And then DIY was all like, we don't just make the bar, we break them.
Break the bar. They started laughing at that.
And then the bar just laughs at them and walks away.
Rich says it's gonna be Miz versus Shane at WrestleMania.
Most likely.
Most likely, I hope it doesn't go there. Realistically speaking, I want Miz versus Daniel Bryan for the title, but whatever. He says good match, but I wish the general fans had more context. Which match was that? The Aleister Black and Andrade. Well, let's not discount the fans that they actually do watch NXT and know what's going on in NXT. Andrade coming from NXT, deep history with them. Aleister Black having a deep history with NXT currently.
I mean, they did. I mean, the announcers did mention that.
They gave a brief history
that it was,
video
it was
package.
Aleister Black that took the title away from Andrade, so I really can't say they didn't have too much contact.
They didn't phone in on us. So this is
they didn't show
the
the
complete history of
screenshot.
Andrade in NXT and Aleister in NXT. They didn't do that, but they did. Before the match started, they did give a video package about Aleister Black and who he is and where he comes from. And commentators did make mention of the matches between Aleister and Andrade. But moving on from that, after DIY and the promo with the bar, we have Jeff Hardy, AJ, and Kofi backstage. And Kofi wants to extend not an olive branch, but a pancake branch to AJ and to Jeff because, of course, they were all competitors in the Elimination Chamber the night, 2 nights before.
I just want to point out that Xavier was carrying Big E. Yo,
that was hilarious. Usually I have a problem when they get too goofy like that, but that shit was hilarious. So they extend a pancake branch to Jeff and AJ because later on in the night they're going to fight Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. After this promo, we have the Bar versus DIY. And will I say, this was a hard-hitting match. Like,
very hard.
This showed, this is main roster power and heavyweight versus the fast, young up-and-comers. This match was great. I think it was another Aleister Black versus Elias situation where the second night of matches felt way better than the first night. Even the first night of matches with NXT, they were great matches. But, oh my God, SmackDown hit all the notes with the NXT guys and the way they were used in the ring. So, great match. Bar versus DIY. DIY ends up coming out on top. They win the match. Again, the NXT guys are getting pushed in a way that, hey, we here. They can contend with our main roster guys, and NXT's a third brand. So, the fact that they ran through Raw and they pretty much ran through SmackDown this week, it's just big and better things for NXT. And, people like us here at Kayfabe have live cast, even Richie Moon, who's not here, he's chiming in through the YouTube channel. He can agree. He does say it from time to time. NXT is the show. And I've kind of given the gimmick to NXT is where the F went.
Yep.
From WWF. NXT is where the F went. You want the great matches, the great stories, great all-around product, NXT is where it's at. And they're being legitimized. Richie says, Big E might be the funniest guy in all of wrestling. I agree. He said, because the fans knew who they were and the matches were better on SmackDown Live. Yeah, I mean, they did get more context. Like I said, they did get more context from Raw into SmackDown, and they were really used great on SmackDown. No complaints from my part. Next up, we have, after the DIY win over the Bar, we have the same situation in reverse. We got Daniel Bryan, Joe, and Orton in the back talking. They look like they're more in the arguing thing. No pancake branches, no olive branches, nothing. Next up is a Ricochet promo highlighting who he was, where he came from, his NXT background. Rich says, NXT is often the best thing in wrestling, period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go watch NXT on the WWE Network.
Shows where WWE could be if they had the time. So we have the Ricochet promo. After that, we have Asuka in the ring. And finally, this promo was exactly how me, Richie Moon, and folks have been feeling like, what the hell happened to Asuka? Her stock kind of dropped. She's not like she's being overlooked by Ronda and Charlotte and Becky's feud, and this was directly addressed. This was directly stated in an in-ring interview, and
she's saying she basically says she don't care about.
she doesn't care about them because she tapped Becky.
She forced Becky and Charlotte to leave SmackDown to go to the Raw.
I mean, pretty much. She beat both of them at TLC, which she said. Then she made Becky tap at the Rumble. So Asuka's, been pretty much like, I'm still here. We have Mandy Rose.
They ran. I'm still here. Now who's ready for Asuka?
So Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come out. Now Mandy's pretty much stepping up to the plate. She's ready for Asuka. They had a good match. Like,
great match.
I was really surprised that Mandy gave Asuka this caliber of a match.
Very surprised.
Considering everything we see from Mandy is like quick, or it's recorded in a weird segment or something. This was actually a great Mandy Rose match, and she used heel ring psychology to beat Asuka, which I don't feel like. I think Rich said this earlier this week. He felt like it diminished Asuka the way she lost. I don't think she did. If anything, it made Mandy look really good, and Asuka lost in a typical
heel fashion.
Yeah. Mandy gets hit in the eye. She plays it off. Oh, my eye. She distracts her. She distracts the ref. She pulls Asuka to the ropes. Her neck rebounds off the ropes. She's holding her throat. She gets rolled up for the pin. Surprise, happened quick. Great way a heel from Mandy to expand her character. Not only that, there was Sonya Deville. So Mandy Rose. Richie Moon says Asuka, holy
shit.
S word. And then she comes back and loses to Mandy Rose. Nothing against Mandy, but I just can't believe her against Asuka yet.
I mean,
it
she
made
just
Asuka
proved
look
you.
stupid.
She
just gave the reason. Listen, there's no way that Asuka's losing at the end of this rivalry, but she has to build up the SmackDown Live Women's roster with the heavyweights of that roster moving on to Raw for this Ronda Rousey feud. Asuka's role right now is to bring up the women's division. You have Carmella and Naomi, who are probably the other best talent on the roster, and right now they're women's tag team division. So she has to be the catalyst for the rest of these women to step up to the plate and actually get on the level of Asuka, get on the level of Charlotte, get on the level of Becky. Whether that's possible or not, they have to try. And Mandy Rose, in her first real outing against Asuka, really looked strong, gave her more the way it ended. I don't think Asuka looked stupid at all. If anything, it's the classic heel versus face situation, and Mandy capitalized on the heel win.
And you got to look at the psychology of it when when Mandy pulled Asuka to the ropes and she hit her neck on the rope. Like, at that point, Asuka was choking. She couldn't breathe. And if you can't breathe, you're not going to get the strength to kick out. That's basically what it came down to. Mandy came in when she was choking, did a fast roll up, 1, 2, 3. Before you know it, she lost. She was still choking. She couldn't get no air because of that. You need air to lift up. You can't lift. That's why every time when you get personally trained or anything, they tell you to keep on breathing, breathe in, breathe out, and you get the strength that you can
not only that, after Mandy Rose's win, Asuka was like shocked. Like, I just fucking lost to Mandy Rose. I'm pretty sure the same amount of shock as Rich had when he realized she just lost to Mandy Rose. This is gonna light a fire under Asuka, and when they actually show up, Asuka's gonna whoop her fucking ass.
Yeah.
And she's gonna come out on the top. But at the same time, she made Mandy Rose look good, and that's half of what wrestling is. When the people can take a fall for the next man, and they both look good coming out of it. So I don't really have an issue with that. I actually applauded that situation. I felt personally it was done well.
Because we don't want to have a nation where you have a champion who can't be beat and pinned, or every time they have a wrestling match, it's basically, they're gonna win. I don't care.
Yeah, like every time Cena used to step in the ring back in the day. It was like your favorite person's gonna lose because Cena's in the match. We don't need that. It's like I said earlier about the Attitude Era. It wasn't that compared to now. It was you can see somebody on the low card face somebody on the main event card and actually think it's gonna be a great match, or maybe the other guy has a chance. That was how the Attitude Era was booked. Everybody from top to bottom was booked really well. You can't just have dominating forces and never have them bring up the rest of the talent. You're going to squash your talent pool on SmackDown and have no other women's contenders be believable to fight Asuka. So let's move on from that. But so Mandy got the win. Next up is Ricochet versus Eric Young. This was an okay match. I felt like they're mistreating Sanity. Period. It wasn't good. Ricochet pretty much held off all three of them by himself. Beats Eric Young with the 630. I feel like they just need to believe in Sanity. Let Eric Young do his promo work. Let the big guy in Sanity be a beast. You know, they're just not booked right. Sanity, I have not been happy with Sanity's booking, period, on SmackDown. And SmackDown's supposedly one of the best opportunity shows. It wasn't showing here. Ricochet with the win, using the 630 splash, which is something you need to fucking see. We have a New Day promo, which was fucking awesome backstage in the gorilla position. They're talking about Kofi Kingston. They're talking about the momentum he's building, which leads straight into no breaks. It leads straight into Big E doing his New Orleans. And you see him doing it from the gorilla position, and you see them walk out to the stage. That promo right there was like, more of this. I love when they do the backstage gorilla position segments and that lead straight into the match. Actually seeing Big E cut that and the veins popping and how he got into character, like, these are things we want to see. It was well done. Daniel Bryan loses, but I don't think he looks bad doing it. Sanity, holy shit. They were there. Yeah, Sanity versus Ricochet, bro. That's Richie Moon, I guess, chiming in. Daniel Bryan does lose. He actually has, and he does win in heelish ways. So the New Day promo was awesome. Led straight into the match. Kofi Kingston, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton. This was a great fucking match, back and forth. Good 3-on-3. Eventually, all the parties get separated, and it leaves Kofi Kingston to actually have a little back and forth with Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston eventually hits the Trouble with Paradise and gets another win off of Daniel Bryan. This leads into winning for his team. Shane McMahon comes out and says the person who's going to face Daniel Bryan at Fastlane other than Kofi Kingston. The crowd goes crazy. They celebrate in the ring, and that was SmackDown.
Hashtag get Kofi a chance.
They definitely are giving Kofi his chance, and this is a good thing to see stemming off of him replacing Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali was supposed to be in this Kofi Kingston position, and I'm actually surprised at how people got behind Kofi and they're really was chanting his name, and like they this is things that they should be doing with the lower mid-card stars on an everyday basis. They shouldn't just pick and choose, oh, hey, a word, WWE spotlighted Kofi today? We're going to cheer him. Yeah. Let's see this happen. No, do this night in and night out, and we'll see those stars get their sign.
You got to raise your own brand stock value.
Yeah.
Having them lose every time to, like, the champion, it isn't working.
Yeah, so let's move on to 205 Live.
Goodbye and good